speak to you all this morning. As mentioned, what we're going to talk about is this lean project that we had conducted at the Rockville General Hospital. And from the lean project, we identified what we call the Kaizen event. And the Kaizen event really was to reduce the amount of paper flow from the Rockville General Hospital to its primary care and community partners by at least 50%. Here's a little comic strip that I came up across that I thought was kind of interesting. It sort of fits into really regards to what we talk about. We're always presented with different types of ideas and different types of concepts that we can actually implement to help improve services and benefit from that. This comic strip sort of had a twist to it because it talks about the fact that we have another program here that's going to improve, another TQM type program. And the consultant or doctor here comes up and says, well, it's the same program but under a different name. And of course the CEO then says, when can we start this program? So, I'd like to say though, the fact that at the end of the term, at the end of the process of going through the LEAN project, we did find that the LEAN project did provide us with some long-term sustainable benefits, and we are still running a number of these Kaizen events today in different areas of the hospital and realizing some very good benefits from that as well. One of the things I think we take a look at the healthcare industry is the fact that we understand that simply overlaying 21st technologies on top of 20th century workflow is not really providing us with the benefits and the quality that we actually would desire. We found that with the LEAN process, it is allowing us to take a look at the workflow processes within the hospital with a different set of eyes, and then to start to take a look at how we deploy these 21st technologies to enhance these hospital workflows. So the hospitals really need to take a look at how to redesign the process, and then of course address the human side of the factor as well. And again, we're finding that the LEAN process is really helping us understand what the current workflows are and how we can redesign those processes to meet 21st century technologies. First, to start off with, we'll sort of explain what LEAN is. The core idea of LEAN is to determine the value of any given processes by the value-added steps and the non-value-added steps, and then attempt to eliminate the waste from that process itself. And of course, the eliminating waste is sometimes referred to as MADA in Japanese, for those of you who want to know more about that. What is LEAN? LEAN is the relentless pursuit of the perfect process through waste elimination. Essentially, we spend 75 to 90% of our time doing things that increase our costs but yet have no value to the customer itself. In healthcare, LEAN is all about shortening the time between the patient entering and leaving a care facility by eliminating non-value added steps throughout the process. LEAN thinking can be basically thought of as 4 different points. First off is the fundamental objective: to create the most value while consuming the fewest resources. Define value from the customer's perspective. Now, that's a very important statement as well, to understand the fact that what we're trying to do is deal with the way we are perceived when we're providing the delivery of care and services to the community. Identify which process steps create value for our customers and which ones do not, and then attempt to try to eliminate those. And of course, the whole concept of LEAN is to basically to eliminate the root cause of the waste and allow for a one-piece, standardized, continuous flow. How does LEAN work? Essentially, initially you need to have a vision and a case for change. And understand where you currently are at. What's your current state? And where do you want to go? Which defines really what your future state is going to be. And then identify the gaps, and then from there develop an implementation plan. And of course, the most important part of the LEAN is to have leadership buy-in. So leadership really helps determine the success of a LEAN initiative. The 5 steps to LEAN thinking, if we take a look at it, extracted from this book called LEAN Thinking, really it comes down to where step 1 is you specify the value. You define the value from the customer's perspective and express the value in terms of the specific product or service that you're attempting to deliver. Step 2 is to map the value stream. And that's where you take a look at all the added and non-value added steps that bring the product or the service to the customer itself. Establish the workflow is step number 3. The continuous movement of the product, services, and information from end to end throughout the process itself. And then, of course, step 4 is to start to implement what we call a pull. And a pull is basically where nothing is done in the upstream process unless the customer signals the fact that they need that process. And number 5 is where you work to perfection, and that's just basically elimination of waste within to add value to the customer. So lean means you deliver more, better quality outcomes and experiences for the customer with the same resources, and you deliver better work experiences for staff and providers. Dr. David Ben Tovum from Flinders Medical Center sums it up very nicely in stating the fact that we have found that we can do 15 to 20% more work, offer a safer service on the same budget, using the same infrastructure, staff, and resources. Everything has improved. Cost, quality, delivery, service, and staff morale. It is a truly sustainable win-win-win situation. Lean is a very powerful improvement approach. At least that's what we discovered at the Brockville General Hospital. The goal is to create flow, increase process speed, use VSM to identify and eliminate waste, and also to run Kaizen events and lean projects within the hospital. And lean basically does reduce non-valued steps. So the lean project led us to what we call the Kaizen event. The Kaizen event is called the No Paper Please Kaizen event. We ran this through April 7th through April 9th of this year. The No Paper Please Kaizen team was composed of a lot of our community healthcare partners, as well as some people from within the Brockville General Hospital and the Kaizen facilitator. And these are the organizations that were involved. To explain a Kaizen event, it can be explained as basically being a short burst of intense activity and effort which is focused on a specific problem of improvement opportunity. It's usually a dedicated team, multidisciplinary team, and it can run for up to about 5 days. It is usually more action-oriented than analytical. It's also managed with daily reviews of progress and, of course, a reality check. If we take a look at the Kaizen event process, we can see basically it's a 10-step process that can be conducted where you start with documenting the reality, identify the waste, plan your countermeasures, do a reality check,